We're back. What's up, Vin?
October 8th, 2024.
All right.
How are you, sir?
Hello.
How are you, Mike?
I am good, Vinny. How are you?
I'm doing great. Excited. A lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
Exciting day here in New York. Mets are winning 400-0.
I saw that.
Good
Those
day.
Mets, man. Those amazing Mets.
The amazing Mets. Let's get through some formal stuff, and then we'll jump into the biggest news of the day. So, AKFI, Kansas City. Hello. How you guys doing out there?
KC.
Another big. Seems like every time we do the show, they win something, right? Kansas City, the Royals, the Chiefs, the Kansas City Kings.
We should never do a show again so they don't win.
And then, of course, go to our website, vinandmikepodcast.com. You're right. We'll start doing shows when we have to figure out when the football and baseball offseason are together. So, Mike,
yes,
it
sir.
happened. Biggest news of the day. Let me see. Let me pull up my phone here for a second because it exploded like Aaron Judge got traded. I mean, that's the way it exploded today. And it happened. Let's see. There's so many group texts. I got to find one.
Yeah.
Actually had the thing. Let's see. So at approximately, here we go. It was approximately 10:20 a.m. Eastern. My phone went crazy, and it said Robert Saleh is fired. And I immediately thought of all the Jet fans out there that I know, and of course you most importantly. And tell me how you feeling.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise was how early in the season it was. Knowing the Jets and the organization, this is not something they usually do this early. That was a surprising thing. We all know that he was on thin ice going into this year with Rodgers. But what's happened this year, right? No chemistry with the receivers. Things are all over the place. And this should not be a 2-3 team. Now, is all the blame on Saleh? No. My biggest thing today, Vinny, was how about Nathaniel Hackett? Why does he get a pass? He gets a pass because he has a relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Now, there was a report that said that last night there was a call with Woody Johnson and undisclosed players, right? We know who one of those players was, right? And the fact that we know their chemistry was not good this year, the thing that I'll say is that Robert Saleh, to me, and we've talked about that on this podcast, he always just seemed to be more of a defensive coach, defensive mindset, but not a head coach. Acted like more as a friend. It definitely showed in the gameplay. Ridiculous penalties. Where the hell has Breece Hall been, right? Just certain things, right? But the head coach ultimately, even though I think it falls more on Hackett, right, because he's the offensive coordinator, but as a head coach, you monitor everything. Should have Saleh been fired this early? I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I'm trying to really understand from the business perspective the way they built this team over the summer and the expectation. They had to do something.
I will say I heard that there was rumors that Saleh wanted to change Hackett as the play caller, that he wanted somebody else to call the plays starting this week. And I think that is what got him fired, essentially. I would say so. If you watch the London game again, and I find it very interesting, and you see the sideline behavior of everybody, and after the national anthems and all this stuff, at no time is Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers giving a fist pound, a high five, a thumbs up, hugs, he hugs Lazard and Garrett Wilson, Rogers. And then he walks to the back of the bench when Saleh now gives Garrett Wilson a hug, and there's just no chemistry. There was no chemistry there. And I ultimately think if that's the case, they were going to change play callers. I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers picked up the phone and called Woody Johnson and said, you either have me or you have him, and you make the choice. And we know the head coach is never going to win out against the quarterback. Ultimately, what it comes down to. Now, was Robert Saleh fired unjust? I'd say no. I didn't see him do anything that inspired you to say this guy was going to lead a team to the Super Bowl. I didn't find him to be anyone that was really involved on what was going on in the offense at all. I get it. Use Andy Reid as an example where he probably doesn't deal with the defense, that much, if that, at all. But he's got some buy-in, right? You see players, talking to him, embracing him, all this stuff. I don't know if Saleh had anybody, on the offense except Garrett Wilson that seemed to really embrace him. And this team shouldn't be 2-3. There's various reasons probably why. Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of 5 years ago. Like we mentioned, his last year in Green Bay, he didn't have a 300-yard game. He's coming off a major Achilles injury. He's 40 years old. All the things that, add up, is also the big problem. But to me, it all comes down to how the other players felt about him, how everything was working, where was the cohesion. I just think they didn't have any of that when I really look at it. And that's me looking at it from 10,000 feet away and not really vested in the team.
It seems like what Rodgers wants, he gets now. But now, all eyes aren't, if they weren't already, obviously, but even more so now, all eyes are on him. Period. Because you know what? They made this move. We know he was influential in the move. And now, okay, you got what you wanted. Let's see what you can do. But what I noticed in the last game, his throws were way off. Way off.
Yeah.
A lot of the throws were not smart plays, right? That's aren't him. He's going to do what he wants anyway. The chemistry with him and Garrett Wilson have been way off. And as I said in this offense, where is Breece Hall?
Yeah.
He's not even utilized.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy what we're seeing.
Yeah. And using Breece Hall is not Robert Saleh's fault.
No,
it's Nathaniel Hackett's fault. It's getting those plays in and changing up the running scheme. I really don't like them running Breece Hall in between the tackles. I know he's good there, but I want to see them pitch the ball out a little bit, run some some far sweeps. What Rodgers did back with Aaron Jones, and you can go back to even some of the earlier backs that he's had through the years. They ran that old Packer sweep, right? Pitch the ball out, let the guy get to the edge of the tackle, and he's got a lot of talent, and let him make a move, break a tackle. I get it that linebackers and defensive linemen are faster than they've ever been, but so are offensive linemen, so are running backs, so are wide receivers. They can all get out there and block and do things. I like to see them do that. I also liked when Aaron Rodgers would play action roll out. Right now, I know what that Achilles is feeling like or how he's feeling. I don't know, but I would like to see him move a little bit in the pocket. I thought, which game was it where he was really sharp, Mike?
Was it Tennessee
game? Where he moved around a little bit. He was slinging the ball. Yeah, it was that game. That's the kind of offense I want to see them run. And like you said, they got to get Breece Hall involved. He's the reason that the entire thing is going to gel, right? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you made a great point about Breece Hall, Vinny. The few play calls that are going to him right now are so predictable, running up the middle. It's like running into a wall. Pitch it to him on the outside. Let him do what he does best.
Yeah.
Where is that? We're not
Yeah.
seeing it.
Yeah, I want to see a little, maybe move a tight end in motion and have him follow the tight end, fullback tight end move kind of thing. I don't know. Again, I'm not an NFL coach. I just what I see and and what I see that worked for him last year. It's just not there right now. Again, I don't know if it's teams putting more pressure on him to as a whole and really wanting Rodgers to beat them, or it's just things aren't just clicking right now. Maybe Rodgers himself isn't fully engaged. You got to remember, it's going to be his 6th game. He missed the whole season. Still trying to learn. Probably every single player out there except Alan Lazard. Still trying to get used to playing with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Mike Williams and Tyler Conklin, right? You could go down the whole list of guys. Maybe the offensive line is still learning to gel together. A lot of new faces on that line as well. But I think this, like you said, now it's in Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers' hands.
That's it. Those are the eyes.
You're not going to blame, what's his name? Ulbrich, right? He's a defensive coordinator. He's just filling in as head coach.
And the defense, by the way, has been outstanding. The defense has been, they're playing their hearts out. Yeah. The offense has not been producing.
Yeah, I like the amount of pressure they're getting on the quarterbacks. I like everything they're doing on defense. Sauce Gardner had a rough game this last game, a lot of penalties, but it's Justin Jefferson. Tough. By the way, they just said that Robert Saleh's first loss as a Jets head coach was to the Panthers, and Sam Darnold was the quarterback. Oh. And his last loss to the Vikings, Sam Darnold was the quarterback.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic with ex-Jets quarterbacks.
Sam Darnold's going crazy.
Going crazy. Yeah, so summary, listen, on the human side of things, right, you feel bad for the guy. You never want to see anyone get fired. He's a good person.
Never ever. No.
As far as the head coach, it just wasn't gelling. It wasn't. Now, but I agree with you. If I were to look at this, I think Hackett got a huge pass. He's responsible for that offense. The offense has been mediocre at best, and that's a compliment, right? But now everything's going to be pointing at him, and we'll see if there's any difference.
It's on him, and it's on Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Again, do we overrate Aaron Rodgers sometimes? Right? I think about it. He's won one Super Bowl. He's only been to one Super Bowl. That Super Bowl was a decade ago plus, right? He's 40 years old. He's not 26, 27, not even 36, right?
No.
What Aaron Rodgers are you going to get now with 12 games left, right? But like we talked about away from the show, they win this week coming up. They're in first place.
That's the craziest part about football. As bad as they played, because Buffalo lost against Houston, and Miami and New England have been not good, right? So yeah, they beat the Bills. First place.
That's it. First place. And the Bills don't. They went from looking like they were going to win the Super Bowl and be in the 1 seed after the first 3 weeks. In his last 2 weeks, they look worse than the Jets.
They look really bad.
I think Josh Allen was 9 for 30. I think that's what I heard. And I'm pretty sure he had a concussion. Oh, I don't know how we continued to play, but that's a whole other topic.
Uh,
But that's it. So, did you watch any of this Mets game that's on right now?
yeah, I watched. Yes, I did. And man, this Vientos is something. I'll tell you. His defensive plays outstanding. He had a home run. Um, Alonso had another home run. You talk about just this Pete Alonso. They were ready to write him off. Goodbye.
Yeah,
And now he has cashed in.
yeah,
He's cashed in, Mr. Alonso.
yeah. Let me tell you, this Mets team,
Oh, they are fun to watch.
they win the World Series. That Pete Alonso home run is going to go down in history as like the biggest home run ever, right? Against the Brewers. The Brewers, Devin Williams, the whole thing. You know, they were literally done.
Yeah.
And bam, that was it. Right back in it. Rolling. They've been rolling ever since that home run.
They have. And you know what? The interesting thing is every time the Brewers or the Phillies, they score runs, the Mets will score runs the next inning.
I know.
They'll match it or beat it. And when they look down, those come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They have the resilience. And what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
The Mets went right from the Brewers to the Phillies. What do we call that? Momentum, right? There's a momentum swing. Phillies didn't play for a week, right? The Mets, to me, a split in Philadelphia is a huge win. Now they're home at Citi Field. They're in a great position.
Yeah. Yeah. I was impressed even with the loss in game 2 that Vientos hit the huge home run in the 9th inning, right? To tie the game, even though they essentially lost the game. But like you said, to your point, they feel like they're never out of a game.
No, they're never out.
You feel like if they're down 4-0, that they're going to figure out a way to score 5 runs.
You have the confidence.
Yeah. Where across the city there, up in the Bronx, you got zero confidence that they can get a single.
Yeah, I was curious to really hear you on the Yankees because let's say that first game you were getting nothing out of Soto and Judge. They should have been up by they should have had 5 or 6 more runs, right? Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Aaron Judge is the MVP of the league. He's probably the best player in baseball right now, right? With all around with his fielding and his slugging and playing in the Bronx and all the stuff that comes along with it. But he's also the worst percentage strikeout player with 200 more at bats in playoff history, right? He struck out 34% of the time. I think now he's second because he got a walk and a single after his strikeout in the first inning last night. But he's killed multiple rallies in these first 2 games, and they should have easily scored 10 runs in the first game.
Yeah.
There were situations last night. I won't take anything away from the Royals. Great fielding, great plays. But there was just situations where these guys came up, and it's not just Judge. It's Stanton, of course. Those are the guys. Soto, I'm not going to take, blame him for anything because he had 3 hits in game 1. He was getting on base. He's doing the things he's supposed to do. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in Judge right now. He can turn that around very quickly tomorrow. And I'll feel a lot better. I'm not going to, you don't come out here and kill a guy that hit 58 home runs and drove in 140 RBI, and without him, you wouldn't even be in this position.
Yeah.
But I'm really extremely disappointed in Gerrit Cole because Gerrit Cole should be in midseason form now. He should come out. He should be pumping 98-mile-an-hour fastballs on the corner, getting guys out, coming out there, giving us 7 strong innings. And he pitched a terrible game 1. We got very lucky to win game 1 the way he pitched and everything. Rodon came out like he was going to strike out 30 last night, and then the 4th inning came and he totally blew it.
Yeah.
But a good positive for everything is the bullpen kept us in both games. Again, essentially we won game 1, game 2,
Look how many pitchers they used in game 2.
what?
How many relief pitchers they had.
He used the whole bullpen except Lewis Heel. He used
It's
everyone. He used 8 guys, I think they said.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, listen, Aaron Boone was doing everything possible to keep the Yankees in the game and keep them to win. And I'm not going to discredit anything. Now I'm going to be really mad at him tomorrow. And it's going to happen.
Oh,
if he doesn't play John Birdie at first base. John Birdie last night played a great first base. He hit at least 3 balls that I can remember that were on the screws. Some were out, some were base hits, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think the guy's hot. I don't want to hear this righty-lefty matchup. Who the hell are you going to play at first base? Oswaldo Cabrera, Ben Rice. This is, they are not anything. John Birdie at least showed something. I don't care, righty, lefty. Let this guy play. He's got some momentum going. He's got some speed on the bases as well. We need a guy like that in the lineup. So you heard it here, Mike. If he's not in the lineup tomorrow, when you see the lineup card come out, you know what I'm going to say. Where's Steve when I need him? Steve's going to agree with me on this one too. We're going to both lose our minds that John Birdie's not in the lineup.
Just to let our audience know who Steve is. Steve is probably the most pessimistic Yankee fan there ever was. And then we're on this group chat, and him and Vinny like antagonizes him on purpose to get a rise out of him. And these two are going back and forth, and I just listen. It's just crazy.
I was trying to antagonize you on the Jets game out in London, but you had people over the house, so you weren't really listening to me.
I want to tell people that story. So I have people over for the Jet game, and people know I'm diehard Jet fan. I told Vinny this story. And, we're all watching the game, and it was just a freaking disaster at the end. And when Aaron Rodgers threw that interception, and I never see people leave a house so quick and leave me there, including my wife. They just all left because they knew how pissed off I was. They got the hell out of there.
So let me ask you this, and very circumstance, so whatever the word is. Jets are in the Super Bowl. Are you attending a Jets party? Are you having people over? What is your thought process if the Jets are in the Super Bowl?
I should be more like our former guest Kyle Maskey. I should have that mentality. He doesn't watch a Packers game with anybody. He watches his games by himself. I give him a lot of credit.
That Super Bowl by yourself?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just messing with you with Super Bowl. First of all, if they ever got to the Super Bowl, I think I would have to just suck it up and pay for a ticket, somehow get there, because that would be like once in a lifetime. That would be like bucket list item.
Okay.
It was like for the Knicks last year when I went to the playoff game. It was surreal, right? I mean, even though the Knicks have been playing better, I'm just like, how often can I get to a playoff game, right? But for the Jets, Vinny had asked me this question. What would be a bigger thrill for you? Something that's going to really make you happy? The Knicks winning the championship or the Jets? What means more to you? And obviously, people know this podcast listening that they're, I'm diehard for both teams. But there's been much more disappointment with the Jets in my lifetime. The Knicks, at least when I was younger, they made the finals in '94. And when Ewing was around, they pretty much made the playoffs every year. And then obviously after the year 2000 or something, went into a big hiatus with playoffs and a couple good years here and there, but there was definitely highlights, right? When we look at the Jets, honestly, we haven't been in the playoffs in 12, 13 years. And before that, it was really those couple years with Rex Ryan that when Mark Sanchez was quarterback, we got into the playoffs. But then we had some really awful years with Rich Kotite and some others. And the team that just never really got to that level of getting anywhere far in the playoffs. So if the Jets could get to the Super Bowl, yeah, I would I'd probably try to book tickets or do something. I would have a Jets party if I couldn't go, just for like the enthusiasm, because it would be incredible.
And
Right?
then if
And then I think people would just get the hell out of there. Like, no, I mean, I've said this, being a Jets fan, you have to be cautiously optimistic. That's the best way to watch this team. And even going to the beginning of the season, and for right reasons, people were very high on the Jets. We built this core, right? And, ownership did a great job of getting, an offensive line together, the right receiving unit. Defense was top 5. And then we just start out the season so poorly, right? But as we know, we talked about, as bad as it's been, you win on Monday night, your season changes just like that.
Yeah.
Will a coaching change make a spark?
Usually it does. Usually when the coach gets fired, the team wins like the next week. Usually.
Yeah. But there was something I posted on our Instagram that just now, there has never been a head coach that was fired during the season where an interim coach took them to the playoffs.
Okay.
So this could be the first.
All right. We'll see. Usually coaches get fired because the team is so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no team has been fired its head coach in a season and it's gone to make the playoffs. That's crazy to me. Yeah. Because probably most teams don't fire a coach this early in the season.
Yeah.
It's later, maybe with a couple games left or the last third of the season.
Yeah, I don't remember a coach. I would have to really look at it, but I don't remember a coach getting fired after week 5.
It's happened, but it's rare.
It's probably like a coach that's been there for a few years, like Saleh's been, like similar circumstance. But usually they're 0-5.
Yeah, it's not like they. Yeah, it's not like they're. Think about that. They weren't 0-5. They weren't even 1-4, and they're one game out of first place, right?
Yeah, a win away from being in first.
It was shocking. Honestly, I just think about it. It's just not a Jets move. So, Vinny, I agree with you 100% that I truly believe Rodgers went into that front office, made his demands, and they followed it. It had to be. This is not a Jets move just to get rid of a coach this early.
Unless it is multiple players, right? Maybe a few guys said something. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Well, maybe Joe Douglas called Woody Johnson and said, "Yo, I don't know about this." Unless Woody Johnson really just didn't get a warm and fuzzy, the same feelings I had when watching that sideline and the interaction between your franchise quarterback and your head coach.
Yeah.
They could both say, "Oh, there's no problems, this and that." They seem like they weren't even talking.
Yeah. So we are where we are with the Jets. We will see what the play is like on Monday Night Football. Now, my question to you is, through week 5, who do you think has been the biggest surprise, both on the losing side and winning side?
Well, the winning is easy. It's definitely the Vikings, right? Sam Darnold, the whole NFC North, where we thought the Lions and Packers were much better than the Vikings. We even thought the Bears would be an upstart team. And the funny thing is, we're right on all those 3 teams are all good. It's just the Vikings are better right now. It's been a big time offensive showing by Sam Darnold. He's done enough to win every single week. He's getting the ball to Justin Jefferson. I think having Aaron Jones there helped. I think you saw when Aaron Jones got hurt,
Right.
It's the Jets, how the offense slowed down a little bit. Defense is playing fantastic. It's schemed right. They were good last year on defense. They continue to do great things. So I definitely think the Vikings are the surprise team when it comes to winning. Losing, disappointed. I'm going to say the Jaguars. I thought Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville would be a lot better. They just seem like they're still not clicking. Doug Peterson, I thought would really help turn them around, get them on a winning way. So I feel they've been disappointing when it comes to a team I thought could be better and win a lot more games and be competitive in the AFC South. I think the Texans are far superior, but I thought they would have at least an opportunity at a wild card.
Yeah, I was surprised, and maybe it's just the game, but very surprised the Cardinals beat the 49ers after their pathetic performance against the Commanders, right? I guess it's any given Sunday because, man, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
and you probably just named the two other surprise teams, right? The Niners are 2-3. I don't think anyone expected.
I think people that, including ourselves, thought they were going to be leaders. Yeah, they're not.
And the Commanders are 4-1. Jaden Daniels could be the first rookie since Jim Brown to win the MVP.
Yeah.
Jim Brown won a rookie in 1957. They said the other day Jaden Daniels looks like the Bears made a mistake, and Caleb Williams played well last week, but Jaden Daniels looks like the MVP of the league.
Yeah. So. And I want to say another surprise, and I'll say this, give a big compliment to the other New York team out there, the New York Giants.
That was a big win.
That was a huge win.
Yeah.
It was a very hard-fought win. That field goal block at the end was unbelievable. And Daniel Jones, to me, feels he's more accurate. He's using more receivers. He's more comfortable. Huge win for them. So I got to give them credit. I think a lot of people thought the Giants would be 0-5, 1-4, and they're a very strong 2-3 right now. Good for them.
The games that they lost recently, the not having the field goal kicker, not playing well in certain situations, but Daniel Jones, to me, has played well enough in all those games that they, except week one. I think week one they played terrible against the Vikings. But besides that, I thought they've been really good, and especially him. I don't think he's the reason that they lost a few of these games. I think he's the reason that they won these games.
Right.
I thought it was a brilliant special teams move. I watched a video of it. It's very interesting if people get a chance to see it. How the Giants took advantage of the kicking rules, where you're not allowed to jump over the center. You're not allowed to leverage, your own players. You're not allowed to get a running start, all that stuff. But what they did is the A gap where the guard is, to the opposite side of the center. So from where the center's snapping to his right, they lined up the guy to essentially block the field goal over that guard. The guy next to him just put his arm on top of the guard and essentially pushed him down, which is legal. And he jumped over the guard and was able to block it. So now they were looking at that and saying, did the Giants find a little hiccup in the rules, right? Like, so everything they did was legal. So now it'll be interesting to see how teams react to that, right? Because if we're seeing it, you know how these coaches are and how they review everything, are other teams going to try to implement, something like that now to block field goals? So.
Yeah.
But it was a huge block field goal, a huge big special teams play in Seattle. Like we said, a tough place to play. I'd be surprised if anyone took a money line on the Giants out there. Might as well take in the points. I thought that was a tough game for them, and they came out and really they did a good job against Geno Smith. Their defense has been outstanding. I tell you, both New York defenses have been very, very good getting to the quarterback.
They sure have.
And we'll see. The NFC East is very interesting. Dallas is not that great. Philly right now is not playing great. All of a sudden, Washington's the best team in the division, but it's very early in a rookie quarterback's career. So, you don't want to. You don't want to say he's going to win 13 games as a rookie, right? So, Giants at 2-3, they can make some noise.
Yeah, why not? By the way, hot off the press, the Mets won 7-2.
There you go.
2-1. Another big win for them.
So, I don't know who's pitching Game 4 for them.
Let's see.
You know?
I don't know yet. Let's see.
Is it Peterson? Are they going to bring Senga back to pitch
like an inning?
2 innings? Do they? It's tomorrow, right? Game 4 should be tomorrow.
Let me see. See if you can find it. I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Yeah. I'll look too. Yeah, I mean, listen, they're in the driver's seat now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They are definitely in the driver's seat. Let's see. They're on at 5:08 tomorrow. It is Quintana.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Quintana versus Suarez. So tomorrow we got Guardians, Tigers at 3:08. This is Eastern time for everybody. Phillies, Mets at 5:08. Yankees, Royals at 7:08, and Dodgers, Padres at 9:08.
Going to be a busy day tomorrow.
Man, that is a beautiful Wednesday during football season, right? If you're ever going to want to watch playoff baseball during football season, you want to watch on a Wednesday and you want to watch on a Saturday, as long as you're not a big college football fan,
Yeah.
But those are like the 2 days as an NFL fan like I am, want to see baseball. Wednesdays and Saturdays. Forget Friday. No Friday baseball. Sandy Koufax is not showing up at the Dodger game on Friday.
How about that Shohei Ohtani in that first game with that 3-1 bomb?
He tied the game 3-3. Boom. Just like that.
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable player. I tell you, what's his name struggling against the Yankees, Bobby Witt. But looking at his stats and then his fielding's incredible. I know he made a few like knucklehead plays out there, but he made some great diving plays and all this stuff, and really, really shows like his talent. It's good, like guys like Bobby Witt. You hear about him, but he plays in Kansas City, and and baseball is not football, so you don't watch Royals games in New York, right? It's not like the Chiefs playing last night, right? You just don't watch it. Who's watching, a team from Louisiana and a team from Missouri playing baseball? So that's why the NFL is just different. So, but it's good that he's getting that exposure on the national stage. Now I know Major League Baseball. I watched their, the games, all the commercials show are Judge and Ohtani. So we know where Major League Baseball wants this World Series to go. We know they want an NLCS of Dodgers. Mets.
I heard Bob Costas' voice. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
There was a double play, and he was so disappointed because he wants the Yankees. You could tell like they want the Yankees to win. They
want the Yankees versus whoever, and they want the Dodgers and the Mets, and then they hope the Yankees get there. And at that point, they don't care who comes out of the National League, because you're either going to get a Subway Series or you're going to get the two biggest names in baseball playing against each other.
Yeah.
So, sports is a very wild thing, right? As they always say, there's a reason why they play the games.
Well, just think about these Mets. This was a team that was 10 games under 500. Everyone is cursing out the manager, Steve Cohn. They're and then all of a sudden they just make this run, And now I don't. You know what? Why can't they win? Right? There's no reason why they can't. They can do it.
I want to look up their schedule real quick because I remember looking it up. And remember I always say look at June 1st as
That's your day.
right? Like I always look at what's a team on June 1st.
They weren't that great.
Here they are, June 1st. They lost to the Diamondbacks, and they were 24-34. So they were 10 games under 500 on June 1st, 58 games into the season. So essentially at that point, they had 104 games to go. Right? I think they won 90, right?
Yeah.
So they essentially went 66 and 38.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they played 28 games above 500 the rest of the year. That's a hot team. It's a hot team.
It is.
Quintana's been good. Sean Manaea pitched great today. He's probably essentially, besides Lindor, their MVP. And we'll see. They got 3 big left-handed pitchers, which against the Phillies and and the Dodgers is big, right? Because Ohtani and Freeman, I think Freeman's hurt, but still Ohtani, Freeman, Harper, Schwarber. You can go to Soto, right? The Yankees got Soto from the left side. You want those big lefty pitchers.
Yeah. Just like you said, what a great time for sports, right?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about it.
Well, that's why you know me so well. I know what you're going to say. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
We never talked about the Carl Anthony Cat.
The big cat.
Because what I was going to say,
we got to get Nick.
This is why we know each other so well. Because I said for the last part of the show, I want to talk about your
New York Knicks.
Yeah, so when this happened a couple weeks ago,
I can't wait. I can't wait to say it. What number is he going to wear, by the way?
He is. Hold on.
I haven't even seen him in the Knicks uniform. I had my brother laughing the other day. He's like, the Yankees won game 1 and this and that and that. And I said, and the Knicks beat the Hornets.
Yeah, October 20. They open up against the Celtics this year.
Didn't they do that last year?
I don't remember.
I
think he's going to wear number. He's going to wear number 32. I think. By the way,
number 32.
Yeah.
Number 32 from Kentucky,
Carl Anthony Towns. So my reaction to this whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a reaction of emotion. And then I really sat back and really listened to friends and just observing myself.
Yeah.
When I look at this Knicks team, I was so high on the Villanova Knicks. Let's talk about Julius Randle first. Julius Randle's stint in New York has been hot and cold. Also injury prone. I think he got his big break when Jalen Brunson came to the team because Julius Randle had a lot of pressure in New York being the A player.
Yeah.
And when Brunson came to New York, it alleviated that pressure. And Randle became a really good, solid BB plus player. The issue was with Randle, I felt he never really got to where he could have been. And a lot of that was due to a lot of isolation basketball, a lot of one-on-one forcing shots. But overall, he was good. But we all knew in our minds that he probably wasn't going to be in New York a lot longer. I thought maybe they would give him this year to see how he gelled with this team, Mikal Bridges and all this. But that was that. Dante DiVincenzo, man, I just think of heart in the playoffs. That guy had so much heart, made some key baskets, great defensive player. And again, when I heard that he was going to Minnesota, I was really kind of like, I really wanted to see what this whole Villanova Knicks would have looked like. But then you take a deep breath. You're getting a player that gives you 20 plus points a game. You're getting a player that's a big man that could shoot. Because of Mitchell Robinson's injuries, it made a lot of sense, right? And now you're putting him in this lineup. With this trade, and you think about it, I think the Knicks, again, some people have complained that he's a little what's it called? Not weak, but what's the word I'm looking for? I'll get back to it. I lost my train of thought there. But what I've seen is just he could shoot the ball. He's a good rebounder. I mean, he does a lot of good things. So I think that we'll have to see it on the court. How, again, it's all about chemistry. The Knicks had that last year. What is he going to bring? How's it going to affect the game? But it's exciting. When you look at this lineup versus the Celtics lineup, they can absolutely compete with this team, what we have. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the injuries derailed Randall's opportunity, right? I think he was hurt 2 years ago in the playoffs, the ankle injury. This year with the shoulder and out for the year, we didn't have him for a lot of the big moments down the stretch. And I think that Hawks series went before Brunson got there, and he just played so terrible. And then there was the whole with
the fans.
Yeah, that whole thing with the fans, and I just think his time here. I think it's like, for me as a Knicks fan and you, I think we appreciated what he did.
Yeah, it's controversial.
But I think he had just a tough time here, and I think for him and for the team, I think it was best to move on. So I always felt that he was going to be part of whatever big trade they were going to make. And I've been talking about Karl Anthony Towns for a couple of years, right? I've been saying it to you for a few years. I always felt like if the Knicks were going to be able to get any kind of big man in a team that might be willing to depart that kind of player, to me was Minnesota. So that was like DiVincenzo, career year last year, right? I think it's like normal average points was like 9 or 10. I think he averaged 15 or 16 for the Knicks. His 3-point shooting improved dramatically. I think a lot of that has to do with the way Thibodeau runs the offense. I think a lot of it has to do with how Jalen Brunson creates space and gives guys, good shots and all that stuff. But to me, I think, Towns is a guy that could score 40 points, grab 20 rebounds. Every Knicks fan I talked to leading up to the draft was always saying, "Oh, we got to draft a center. We got to draft a center. We don't have anyone." Well, now we got, a center, and you can't complain that we got a center. We got what we really were lacking. Yes, I think people are upset because, similar to you, where they wanted to see the 4 Villanova guys back together and seeing how that worked in the NBA. But, we got Obi Toppin. We brought him back, right? I didn't think they were going to bring him back. He was much better on the offensive side of the ball than I expected. He was a much better trade than I expected. He's there. You brought in Bridges, who's another legit scorer, a shooter. So now we have, that big three kind of combination that we've been talking about for years, with a Josh Hart, with an Obi Toppin, with a Deuce McBride. Eventually, Mitchell Robinson will be back. There's Cameron Payne there now to help, alleviate, a few minutes from Brunson. There's Shamit's back on the team. There's a few other, role players that are all part of it. But ultimately, to me, we got ourselves a 7-foot guy, can play defense, can rebound, can be able to do all those little things for us, shoot threes. I think he's fine with Brunson, scoring 40, when he has to. But I also feel Brunson doesn't have to score 40 anymore, So,
by the way, you don't mean Top, you mean Anobi.
Sorry, OG Anobi, not Obi Toppin. Sorry.
I just had to correct you.
Thank you. OG Anobi from
OG
Toronto.
Obi.
Yeah, I get confused with all the O's that are going around. O, OG, OB, OC. Yes, Anobi. He's been much better for us.
Great trade coming from the Raptors there.
Yeah, absolutely. I like his offense. To me was definitely what we were looking for. So I'm excited. I'm not excited for my Raiders. We'll tell you that. We don't.
That was terrible against the Broncos.
We're the only team in the NFL, maybe besides the Browns, that don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, there's not a young quarterback. There's not a veteran quarterback. There's not a seasoned quarterback that's on that roster. Gardner Minshew is a bum. Aiden O'Connell, I don't know what he is because they won't play him. So, but you look at every other team out there. Look at our own division. There's Pat Mahomes. There's freaking Herbert. And Bo Nix looks like he's going to be a star.
Look at Bo Nix.
I mean, look at all these teams. Go down the whole list. Maybe the Panthers, but I think I'd rather have Andy Dalton than freaking what we got. I think Deshaun Watson is the only guy that I wouldn't want at this point, besides whoever else is out there. I'll take Jameis Winston over Deshaun Watson. If I was Cleveland, I would bench Watson. I'd play Winston in a minute. I don't want Derek Carr back either. So
I know you don't.
We could throw that out there as well.
I know that's for sure.
Are you still a little feeling that you should have got Derek Carr instead of Aaron Rodgers?
No.
No.
Listen, like you said, you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got to get used to things, right? Not that you can't keep making excuses.
They got to win this week.
They have to win. They have to show something this week.
It's Monday night in MetLife, right?
Yeah, we should watch that game together.
Monday night, MetLife.
We should.
We'll go to MetLife. I'll meet you there.
All right.
Meet me
outside the stadium.
Meet me in Secaucus.
Done. We'll just go get tickets last second.
We'll just take the train out there and just hang out in the parking lot, and then by halftime they'll just let anyone in the stadium.
I think so. It's good to be back, though. We got our baseball playoffs. We got big news in the NFL. We've got the Knicks coming back in a couple weeks. Good time for sports. That's for sure.
We'll post our picks.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Where are we going to post our picks?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good this season. 12-7. We had 2 wins. Vinny had the over in the Panthers game. Through. I had the Commanders, even though our friend Mr. Dan Hernandez was assured that the Browns were going to win. So.
Did he ever text you on the side about that?
He did, and he said, "Yeah." He admitted to his failure on that one. And then for me, I had the under of the Giants Seahawks game. And I thought it was a pretty good bet considering both teams. But then we know what the Giants did at the end there with the field goal block, and it went over, I think, 7 points there.
Yeah. And I know Dak Prescott with 20 seconds left took away my Pittsburgh -3.
Yeah, so, listen. To be 12-7 in the season, pretty good. So we'll look at this week's games, and we'll give you our picks Saturday or Sunday for sure.
I hope our listeners took the 12 wins and only bet those. When they saw it,
I doubt it.
When they saw the other 7, said these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about.
But if they've taken our advice, they will be profitable. So that's all that matters.
Yeah. Hopefully they didn't parlay some of the stuff.
Yeah, we don't parlay. These are all straight games.
We don't parlay.
No, we were done with parlays after last season. Yeah.
No parlays. Hey, parlay.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Wow, it's almost an hour already. Well, when you're
There's a lot going on, a
a
lot to
lot
talk
going on.
about. We didn't even really get into the real nuts and bolts, and we still talked about it. It just happens.
Yeah.
What's the Thursday night game? What do we got?
Let's see.
What do we got? I think it's the Niners and Seahawks, isn't it?
Oh wow, I like the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks because I feel that after that loss against the Giants, they'll be ready to play. Although the 49ers had a hard loss, and maybe not. Maybe I have to look at that a little bit more. They both
49ers right now are -3.5.
Ooh, that is a tough one. I
In
don't know.
Seattle.
I think I'm staying away.
Oofa.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's look at the other games to really catch our eye real quick.
Real quick. I'll give you, since we talk about it, Buffalo's -2.5. Bengals are at Giants. Their Bengals are -3.5. So the Giants are playing Sunday night, and the Jets are playing Monday night. By the way.
Oh man, I feel bad for that stadium crew.
They got to clean up pretty quick.
That's a tough job.
Let's see if we got a big spread. Here's a big spread. Eagles home -9 over the Browns. How about this one? I'll give you an interesting game.
Go ahead.
Baltimore -6.5 at home against the Commanders.
I would take the Commanders +6.5.
How about Texans on the road in New England -7?
I'm leaning towards Patriots +7 at home.
Right? That's tough. Let me see what else. Let's see what else. Falcons in Carolina. Falcons -6. How about this one? The Lions going to Dallas, and the Lions are -3.5. I know. Let's see if Michael Parsons.
These are tough. These are tough.
I really hate road teams that are favorite with like those big kind of numbers. To me, like 3.5 is a big number on the road.
Is it crazy for me to think that the Browns +8.5 is a good bet against the Eagles, because the Eagles have not been playing well at all, and it could be a trap game? Am I crazy to think that, or do you think this is a game?
Have you watched Deshaun Watson play?
I have. It was embarrassing, but I still think the Eagles have not been good. I think it could be a potential trap game. I probably won't touch it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer than people think.
I think the Eagles getting A.J. Brown back, Devontae Smith back, coming off a bye week.
You would take them. They're going to fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. -8.5.
Now, again, Cleveland could play defense. Jalen Hurts has not looked good in, I don't know, like the last half of last year in the first 5 games, right? It's been, 13, 14 games. He hasn't been great.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's Eagles probably win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win 24-17. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to say the games that you gave me right now, I really like the Commanders +6.5 against the Ravens. I do like that bet.
That's a tough game.
I do.
That's a really, really tough game.
A lot of these are tough. Here, look at the Steelers -3 against the Raiders at home.
I'll take the Steelers all day.
What a fan. And I'll tell you, the Lions game, that's a tough one.
See,
here's towards Dallas. I do at home.
Here's an interesting game for me. Now, I know it's in London, but still, Bears -2.5 over the Jaguars.
We know those London games are weird.
Yeah, but I don't know. How about the Packers -5 against Cardinals? Which Cardinals team shows up?
Is it Packers at home?
Yeah.
I'll take the Packers.
I would too, but I get nervous with this damn Cardinals team.
Yeah, they've been all over the place.
And the Cowboys and Lions over under is 52.5.
Yeah, be honest with me. Who you taking Monday night, the Jets or the Bills?
I'm taking the Jets plus 2.5.
Yeah.
I did not like the way. So there's a couple things. One, I didn't like the way Josh Allen looked in the last game. I know he's technically not in concussion protocol or whatever. But the biggest thing for me is the way the Jets play against the Bills and Josh Allen the last 2 years. They've been able to really give him a real hard time and hit him and do a lot of things. And I think the only reasons that they didn't win every single game is that they didn't have someone like Aaron Rodgers. So I like the Jets, and I think I lean Giants. Plus 3.5. Bengals have not played well, and they're going to go into MetLife on Sunday night.
I think the Giants again. They're running on momentum after that win against Seattle. Daniel Jones has been accurate. A Cincinnati team in disarray. I'm taking the Giants too.
Plus 3.5.
I will take the Giants on that one.
And not that these are my best bets. I'm just, we're just talking about it.
Yeah. So we got some goals, but we'll give you our picks on Saturday.
Yeah.
Also want to give a shout out to our friend Victor at Turntable. Great spot. Was there on Saturday. We watched the Met game that went there. Again, if you plan on visiting New York, the best Korean fried chicken, the best French fries, 3436 West 32nd Street. Give them a try. Great place.
What did you eat when you were there?
Fries and wings.
Fries and wings.
And our soju.
With the cheese sauce?
You know it. Yeah. My neighbor loved it. He was like, wow, these fries are amazing. He ordered like 2 of them.
Yeah, that's just dip them right into that cheese sauce.
It's great.
What makes his wings so great, everybody? He double fries them.
Yeah, but he's not giving the full recipe.
No, he won't tell you what's on there.
Yeah.
He just tells you he's double fries them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He won't give us what he's actually putting on there.
That's right.
All right, Mike. 8:34.
Great episode, lot covered. We'll see
what
these Jets
let's
do.
go Mets and Yankees. Let's meet in the
Mets
World
Yankees.
Series. I don't want to watch a Mets Royals World Series. Again. I don't want to. Tigers Padres World Series. Let's revisit 1984. Let's go. Let's revisit 2000. Let's revisit when the Yankees played the Dodgers. 1977 when Reggie Jackson hit the 3 home runs.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right, Mike.
All right, Vin.
Have a good night. See everybody soon.
Goodbye.